I wasn't sure how well you could see Clefairy and what was going on with it when I was drawing it with pencil. You can get kind of light, so I wanted you to be able to see it with ink. And now I think maybe we'll color it up a bit. Right now I'm finding all my colored pencils that seem vaguely pinkish, but I got about 4 shades. That should be good enough. Starting with colored pencils, the first thing you really want to know is go in layers, light to dark. So we are basically just going to start out with this very soft sort of flesh tone for Jigglypuff here. And that's not really because we want Jigglypuff to look flesh tone, just because that's where we're going to build off. Except maybe those cheeks there. I'll do them separate. And these feet. And if you'll notice, I'm kind of holding the pencil sideways. You can kind of see it from the lead maybe here. It's all kind of flat on one end. And that helps me just fill in large areas of color more easily and consistently. And there you go. That's layer 1 anyway. And so now we're going to start picking out some darker colors. So right under here, if I remember, we wanted a shadow. So let's go in and add that. And there's a little shadow over here. And so, brief disclaimer, so if you see the Pokemon card, we've got a shadow around here. Light is obviously coming in from this direction. So this little part underneath his pompadour is going to be a little darker. And the back of its ear. And we're going to bring some over here, trying to keep our body looking kind of round so we soften out as we go. Let's do the same thing on the arm over here. Now it's not in the card, but I like to, push back that way. Give yourself a nice little dark area there so it says, yes, this arm is behind. And we'll do the same sort of thing right here and under the leg. As you can see, since we laid down that earlier coat of peach, that it's helping the next coat to kind of go on more evenly and smoothly and kind of blend in a bit. And let's put some over here. Now this tail section is going to be further back still. You see we have a little nice broken area here. You like those. It's sort of lost and found line. It lets your brain fill in some extra information for you. And then back here is going to be our darkest part to date. Furthest away from the sun. And then we're going to kind of put shadows on either side of this just to say it's round. We should have it darker on the bottom side than the top, but we'll leave an impression of it. I think this is actually inner ear here, so I'm going to put some in there. It's not really in the original photo as much as I'd like, but we don't have to be a slave to it or anything, so there. We'd want to get those little cheek pouches. I think this little purpley pink will be just great for that. We'll use this as a base. That way you can kind of see the little snaggletooth thing going on there. There. And then we'll mix it with this. Put a nice darker color on top. That gives us something kind of in between. Makes it a little more complicated color. And so, yeah. Don't get that tooth though. We want to keep the tooth. And we're going to go in and put some more shadows here and there. Kind of want to link these two shadows together. we need to put in some shadow here because this is the bottom of the figure, so he should really be in a fair chunk of shadow around here. And the tail really needs a bit more. So I'm gonna give it quite a bit of darker color, basically all over. That kind of pushes the tail back a bit because it's darker. The hot colors come closer. Cool colors you see. Purple is a cooler color than red. So I think I'm probably about done. At least with Clefairy here. But I think that looks good. If you wanted to make a shiny Clefairy, you just color the ear tips green. Let's see if we can put some detail in this forest scene. So the forest scene, we got a lot of light coming through the trees. So we are going to want to start with a nice yellow for the light coming through the trees. We want some, say, right around here. And right around here. We're going to be a lot sloppier with this, just so you know. We only really want an impression of a background here. So we just want to keep it nice and sort of, you know, abstract. Over here, you know, I think on these bits of foliage that I actually picked out when we were starting, we're just going to give them some yellow highlights. And here, you see where I was doing all that sort of square thing. Let's sort of round that up on the foliage part. So here, squarish looks nice, but there, not so much. And there, we'll do nice long strokes to sort of look like tree trunks. Nothing really rocket science there. So we are just gonna fluff up this green here. And I'm doing nice little curly strokes, sort of imitate foliage here. That's a nice little trick. And then we'll want to have our dark green lower down, so it looks like shadows, but let's not be, you know, all just down. And again, I'm just using little short round strokes here and there. So especially between these foliage bits, I want some dark in there, kind of make them pop out. If we put some extra detail here and there, the eye can sort of pick up on that and decide, well, they put detail there, so everything must be nice and detailed. You'd be surprised how little detail you actually find on some of these things. And frankly, if you put in a background that kind of puts you above most of the artists on, like, say, DeviantArt, you know, if you're looking to become the great new big artist, you are going to have to be comfortable with putting in backgrounds on things. Making a finished picture. And right here I'm just doing dark little blobs to be shadows. Hey, that looks pretty good actually. So yeah, you want to practice putting in backgrounds. If you do that, it's going to set you apart from all the other sort of wannabe artists on the internet. You might still be a wannabe artist on the internet, but you'll have backgrounds and other people won't. And there was this empty area between the trees. Let's make that look a little more organic. And I think there should be a shadow there where the two trees kind of meet. I'm just kind of doing scribbles. If it sounds like I'm doing scribbles and it looks like I'm doing scribbles, it's probably because I'm doing scribbles. Hey, if you're bored in class, you can doodle and make doodles that people might say, hey, that's actually pretty good. Oh, well, it's kind of a scratchy brown, but that kind of works for the tree. Wasn't really what I was actually going for, but it kind of works. I'd really like a shadow under his foot. It's not in the polka card, but again, I'm going to do it. That sort of says that you can see Clefairy's shadow because Clefairy blocks light, like a real thing in the world would do. And I might go over that with a bit of blue, actually. That seems kind of counterintuitive. You're right, it is. But if you mix the blue and gray together, they kind of make a black. And if I do that in the trees and bushes here, kind of pushing everything back. So I'm also filling in some of these gaps in the tree here. I'm gonna put a light little halo of blue around Clefairy here, and then as we go up into the sky, I'm gonna turn it darker to be like the sky getting darker the further you get away. And it's kind of messy because you can see that I'm doing this in sort of columns. Not really what I was looking for, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to go over the columns a bit, sort of break them up, try and push that dark at the top a little bit harder. And I'll break out my pseudo secret weapon here. It's the white color pencil, which isn't really white. It's for blending. Because if you take this white color pencil and say color white over it, you'll notice that kind of blends together. But it sure isn't making any white marks, now is it? And I should say, if you have troubles dragging graphite across your page, you can get a little piece of scrap paper and put your palm on it. Works wonders. Nice little tip of the day. And this blending doesn't seem to be working all that well. So maybe I'll quit while I'm ahead. Hope you had fun watching the inaugural episode of SeggiePants Draws. This is SeggiePants signing out, and I think we did pretty well. Doesn't that look like the polka card? Quite a bit. I think we did pretty good. You want more of these? Let me know. Anyway, hope you had fun. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that stuff if you feel like it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.